can also be love, but the right type of discipline, not discipline that destroys people and tears them down, but the right type of discipline to say, you can do this, but these are the rules. This is what we have to do. Rules are in place for a reason. So yeah, I'm all, I can understand that. And love is the big word. That's the key. And I'm just so glad you said it because it's the key. Love is the key. With the right attention and understanding, and you can really assert yourself, and you can overcome anything if you try hard enough, and you know that someone believes in you, and you begin to believe in yourself. That's the big key. Helping these children to believe in themselves, helping these children to know that they can accomplish anything they set their mind to if they just start out on the right path with a life that's centered around discipline of doing things you need to do, being where you need to be, being on time, doing things you need to do. That's what it's all about. We can't raise them at 20, and if we didn't give them the attention that they needed at 8 and 6 and 9 and 10, and then they get to 20, well, we really have to go to work and help them in a lot of ways more and put more into it because the fundamentals weren't there. So that's something that's really big. So thanks, Irvin, for that one. That was huge. Charles, let me ask you, let's bring you, okay, so we work on the discipline. And so, we got to get a person in, and you and Irwin are working on them together to, for the mentalism. Irwin's working on them for the mentalism, and then you're working on them for agility to accomplish what they need to be able to accomplish. So once you start to see a person, first you got them through the roadblock of knowing that they could, and now you're getting them into their strengthening sessions. What is that like when you're working with them on strengthening their bodies and their core? What's that like?
Well, it's like getting them to believe in what they're doing is working out. It's like I always believe in system and processing, like you said, this is what you need to do, not what you want to do. So we get their routine down that works for them. It's like everybody, there's no one blueprint for everyone. All individuals are different, so you have to use a different blueprint for different individuals. Some individuals, like I write a program for them and they do it by themselves. And some individuals, they respond better if I do the workout with them. Mm-hmm. Like for instance, I had an individual, like we'll go to the high school, we'll do bodyweight exercise, we run sprints, and she'll be like, Charles, this is hard. She said, this is hurting. I said, I know it's hurting. I said, I'm sitting here doing it with you. Don't you see me doing it? I'm hurting just like you hurt. I said, it ain't about what you want to do or how you feel. It's about what we need to do. I said, I'm hurting just like you. I said, sometimes I don't want to do this, but I got to do it.
That's that
discipline. In order for to get you to your point, this is how you enact. I know if I do it with you and push you and you see I'm feeling the same thing that you feeling, it's going to push you because you're like, look, he's hurting like me. He's feeling how I'm feeling, but he's still doing it. So that's how I get to them and get them through. It's whatever it takes. Like I said, you got to free yourself from yourself because you can be comfortable being uncomfortable.
Exactly, because that's where success comes in. Success was never meant to feel comfortable. And so when you become uncomfortable and you're getting in charted territories, it's just like the muscles and the bones. The muscles of your body is when you start doing the same thing every day with your muscles, you're not really, using those muscles at maximum. You're not getting the maximum benefit because you're using other muscles that need to be used too. What's that like, Charles? Because I'm gonna bring that one home. I promise. When you work someone and they can hardly walk the next couple of days, where do you go from there?
Yeah, that's a bad thing. When I was younger and just growing up in personal training, I used to do that, but now I know that you don't have to take a person to that point for to be effective, because you live and learn. So there's a process I had to live and learn. So you can tell when a person is at their maximum effort. To me, that's like slamming a person. You don't have to slam a person so they can barely walk or go home when they can't come back.
No, I don't mean like that one, Charles. Not like that, Charles. I'm talking about the person that's been sitting in the chair for 10 years at the computer at work and realizing I've gained all this weight and I need to work out. And, they got muscles they haven't used in forever. What is that like? Of course you're going to be sore if you haven't used those muscles in forever. So what's that like? How do you get them through that process? What do you help them to do?
Well, basically, first, like everybody that I try to give a consultation, see where they at, make sure they have been clear from a doctor, the word, from their doctor to work out what type of medications they are on, what their passion is, and how we communicate with each other. What I do, I find out where they are and we start from that. Like a person that's never did anything, I'm definitely not going to want them to start lifting weights. I want them to do like a body weight exercises. And we just start from there. You do a little bit at a time. Do a little workout. I don't want you to work out an hour. Let's do something maybe about a half hour. And we slowly do it like where you're at. Like some people like a couch potato. I say, okay, say like you look at a program for 1 hour. Okay, a program that stays on for 1 hour has 15 minutes of commercials. Okay, when you see a commercial come on, I want you to stand up off the sofa, it's just like a squat and just sit back down. Do that till the commercial go off. Then when the next commercial come on, you can do something like a jumping jack. I mean, depending on your weight and size, you don't have to jump. You can just take one leg and one arm, go up on one side, one leg and go up on the other side. So I slowly walk them through different exercises from where they are.
Wow. Okay. Because, something I wanted to, bring this home with everyone. A lot of people don't really realize that what you do in the very beginning is like your bank for later on with your body. It really, really is, especially when it comes to your bones and your musculoskeletal system. It's a science about that. And a lot of people really don't know that there's really a serious science about that. And I have something that I basically call it, it's the bank. It's the NSF bank, non-sufficient funds. N is for no movement, S is for stiffness, and F is for fractures. Worst scenario, F is for fractures, because what happens is that if your body is not moving enough, like say for instance you're a child, and so then you start to build muscle and bone. You start to build muscle as a child. You know what I'm saying? You're running, you're much more active at that process in your body, okay? And the next thing you know is that you get to the next stage and you're more active, but after a certain time, the body is not as active, but then you have a reserve, and it's a science about that, and a lot of people don't know. So what we want to talk about now is something that's really important, because a lot of people just don't even know anything about this, and so that's one of the reasons why we wanted to bring this to fruition today. Discipline to get yourself moving. That's number one. If you have discipline in life, it's easier for you to accomplish things because no pain, no gain, and you're willing to put in and work for what you want. Number two, if the next step is to recognize that I've got to keep moving. So some people need a little bit more help than others, so they'll get a personal trainer. Some people, they may get a supplements. And so this is where we're going to tie this all together. We live in a world in a quest to stay young forever, but that's not a real reality, okay? A lot of people put their time into anti-aging, appearance, hair, sex, love, appearance, fit, and tone looking. But that's not always everything. For a lot of people it is, but that's not everything, because if you can't walk across the room or you're breaking bones easy, then your life is changing. So let's look at the musculoskeletal system in terms of doing the heavy lifting relatable to movement in humans and the role the system plays in the body to help create homeostasis, which is, what I'm most passionate about. And skeletal muscles contribute to maintaining temperatures and homeostasis and synergy and balance in the body by generating heat. Muscles contracting requires energy, and it produces heat as a byproduct of metabolism. So once we get our muscles going, then we get our metabolism going, okay? The muscular system of the human body is indispensable for homeostasis, especially in the specialized muscle types involve over millions of years from the foundational systems that monitor, detect, communicate, and react to keep the body healthy, and also your equilibrium too. So most of us don't pay attention to the health of our skeletal structure until it's in trouble, like osteoporosis. And that's what I was getting at. And so as we mature and we age, as we age, a lot of times we don't even understand that we have a problem with osteoporosis until we break something. So if we're on the track of where Charles is and on the track of where Erwin is, because you got the discipline, you know you need to keep going. And so you understand the value of movement to your body, but some of us don't. That person that's been sitting around for 10 years and they know they need to get active. They just went to the doctor, got a diagnosis that says, okay, part of your recovery is that you're going to have to start working out. You're going to have to make this a lifestyle change. So a lot of people don't really look at that until there becomes a problem. Then next thing, your bones become, at this point, your bones are brittle and they're weak, because our bodies were not made to just be in one place. We were made to be mobile and have mobility. And so the body constantly, this is something that I want people to know. The body constantly absorbs and replaces bone tissue. A lot of people don't know that, but it does. It really does. With osteoporosis, new bone creation doesn't keep up with the old bone removal. So when you have the bone removal being, you're losing your bones are getting weak and brittle, so the process is not replacing itself. That what we need to do to continue to be limber in our bones. So many people have no symptoms, again, until a lot of times you go to the doctor, you break something, and then they say, okay, well, we're going to do a bone density test, to see why you're breaking this, why you're breaking that. And next thing you know, you're sick and you're brittle and you're bent over, and it's too late. So what we're saying, before it gets too late, get the necessary discipline, get the necessary exercise to build and put this bone density in the bank for later in life. Okay? And let me tell you something about bones that a lot of people don't know. We have 2 different type of bones in our bodies. Okay? And that's big. We have 2 different. Most people just say, "Oh, I got bones." Yeah, we got bones, but we have more than one type of bone, okay, in our bodies, and that's something I want people to know. And so we have the cortical bone. That's referring to the outer layer of our bones, okay, and that's dense and that's compacted bone, and that's the outside of our bone. And then we have the trabecular bone. This is on the inside, and this makes up the inner layer of the bone, and it's spongy and honeycomb-like is a structure. So there's the inside of the bone and the outside of the bone. And according to the National Center for Biotechnology information, bone tissues continues to renew itself or remodel throughout the life by breaking down old bone, that's bone resorption, and replacing it with a new bone, and that's bone formulation. Okay? The nutritional impact on bone health, and this is in that same article. This evidence suggests that composition of the diet can play an important role in building and maintaining bone mass throughout your life, primarily by providing bone-building nutrients and by influencing absorption and retention of these nutrients. In addition, diet provides calories, energy input, that's your calories, which together with physical activity, which is your energy output, and that's where Charles comes in. And that's where the discipline comes in again, for you to understand what you need to eat to help to promote healthy bones, okay? And so the maintenance of an adequate body weight can also help promote optimal bone health. And so now we say, okay, now we discovered those things. I've got my discipline. I know I need to be disciplined. And then I also know that I need to also to have movement. Okay, but so in order for us to continue to be able to have these 2 things, we need our nutrition. Okay, if we don't have our nutrition, then that's not going to work. So we have to have all of the things in place to make this work. So it is recommended that our daily intake of calcium depends on whether you're a man or whether you're a woman. For women under 51 years of age, it's recommended to get at least 1,000 milligrams per day, while women over the age of 51 should aim for a bit higher intake of 1,200 milligrams a day of vitamin D3. On the other hand, since men are less likely to suffer from osteoporosis, women suffer more from osteoporosis than men. The recommended daily intake is not the same for men as it is for women. The men need 1,000 milligrams. For men,